Picture this. You've been asked to come in and help a bunch of bankers to come up with some ideas for a new initiative, a big bank. And this was a real job that I had to do. When I walked into the room, it's full of bankers, sat down at a table with their arms crossed, not looking very creative at all. And from previous experience, coming up with ideas with a group of people who don't feel receptive to being creative is a really hard thing to do. That's why I employed Reverse Brainstorm. This is a idea generating session purely designed for people who don't feel that they are creative or have any good ideas. Really encourages people to think about ideas from a different perspective, which is how can we make the worst idea possible? So the first thing I asked the group was, what are we trying to solve? And then the next question that I asked the group is, what is the opposite of this problem? For example, how might we increase customer satisfaction with our banking experience? And the anti-problem or the opposite problem to that is, how might we increase customer dissatisfaction? And when you present this to uncreative people, they end up having a lot of ideas because everyone can be very creative when it comes to making things worse. And that's the whole concept behind this. So for example, some of the ideas that came about was increasing the wait times on the phones or making the app slower to load. After all of these ideas have been captured down on Post-it notes, we then shared them around, so everyone ended up with a different idea or anti-idea in front of them. And then they were tasked to reverse that idea back to the actual solution. So for example, increasing the wait times for the call center, the solution to that becomes to decrease it. And obviously we all know that you shouldn't have long waiting times, but as you have that point of anchor to flip to the real solution, you can really uncover some quite surprising ideas. And by the end of this session with the bankers, ties are a little bit more loosened. Everyone had a lot of energy when they all realized collectively that they were very creative people and they had actually come out with some really incredible ideas, which gave them a lot more confidence. And the actual positive long-term result of that was this group of bankers who were initially sat there with their arms crossed thinking, what's all this about, this idea generation session? They became more receptive to the idea that structured workshops can really influence the direction of the work and create value for the initiatives that they're working on. So there was a massive cultural shift just from one workshop.